Welcome to the 162nd edition of Spooky Reviews from Spooky Ventures. I'm Gary Hill, and I'm your host and reviewer. This time around, I'm looking at a two-for Blu-ray release from Film Masters. The movies included are Night of the Blood Beast, with a bonus feature of Attack of the Giant Leeches. Coming from the Corman brothers, Night of the Blood Beast doesn't get a lot of love. Honestly, I think it deserves more. The story, centering around an astronaut whose ship crashes, is well thought out, insightful, and interesting. I have to wonder, given the way he brought back an unintended visitor, if this film was an inspiration for Alien. I also get a Thing vibe because of the isolation in a small facility. And it feels a lot like it could have been an episode of The Outer Limits. The movie struggles under the weight of its low budget. A lot of the big ideas here required more money for special effects than they had, forcing them to use animation for the rocket scenes, a fluoroscope imaging part, and some stuff under a microscope. Still, this is no worse than a lot of old Doctor Who in terms of effects. In fact, the monster costume gets a lot of criticism, but it reminded me both of something you might have seen on The Outer Limits or on a vintage Doctor Who episode. Some of the science fiction doesn't hold up with modern knowledge, but this was released in 1958, 3 years before a human being was launched into space. So they were imagining something that hadn't happened yet, so I think it's forgivable. Besides, a lot of old and even some new movies don't hold up well with modern science knowledge. Overall, I think this is a creepy science fiction horror movie that works pretty well. It's far from perfect, but it's entertaining. Now, there are a couple different options for viewing the film. Basically, you can choose theatrical version or TV version. I watched the theatrical one, but I believe the only difference is the aspect ratio. There are some minor glitches in the movie because while they were working with the best quality print they could find, the physical film itself has faced some issues over the years in terms of storage and things. Now, Gene Corman served as the producer on the film on the second disc here, Attack of the Giant Leeches. The budget restraints again cause issues on this movie, but you sort of expect that with these 1950s B-grade monster flicks. It's almost part of the charm in some ways. The premise of the movie centers around leeches that have been mutated by radiation to massive size. You can clearly tell that the monsters are scuba divers with appendages and stuff added to them to create the monster look. Sure, it takes some suspension of disbelief, but it really is worth it. Giant Leeches has done better in terms of public opinion over the years than the first film has. I have to think that part of it comes from the fact that the characters are more complete, and there are some interesting interpersonal issues built into the movie. Beyond that, there are some really creepy aspects to the movie. I suppose with a film this old, it was released in 1959, spoilers don't really apply. The way the leeches take human captives and keep them alive to keep harvesting blood from them is particularly horrific to me anyway. Again, the movie is not perfect, but it has its charms. It holds up better than some movies from that time period. The version included in this set is a new 4K scan, and I will say that it looks and sounds worlds better than the other copies I own. This set includes a number of intriguing bonus features. To me, the best of those are the Mystery Science Theater episodes. Yes, they include the MST3000 episodes featuring the movie on the disc for that film. That's a great touch and a cool angle to it. I always say that the bonus features are just that, bonuses, and not really a selling point. I would say that this set has some better bonuses than a lot of releases do. I would also add that just the cool booklet that comes with this is another bonus. Overall, this is a great way to celebrate a couple vintage creature features. I think both movies are well worth the time. I'm really not sure I can pick one as a favorite over the other, mainly because I like them both a lot, and to some degree for different reasons. They're very different films. Spooky Ventures is the home for spooky content and spooky merchandise on the web. Check it out today at spookyventures.com. And remember, always keep it spooky.